Let's see what's for breakfast this morning. Ooh. Today's video I'm going to tell you how to travel for free. So I'd like to preface this video by saying that this kind of travel isn't for everybody. If you're the kind of person who wants to stay in hotels, eat at nice restaurants, although sometimes this does happen, this probably isn't the video for you. However, if you're willing to do whatever it takes to see the world and definitely break outside of your comfort zone, then keep watching, because in this video I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that. So once again, I'm going to go through the 4 categories. And we've got flights, accommodation, food, and transportation. So for flights, this one is probably the hardest, but it is actually possible to fly for free. Now, aside from hitchhiking on a plane, which I've never done, and I only know of one person to have ever done it successfully. I'll post a link to his video of it right here. The other way of flying for free is through the points system. Most airlines have some sort of loyalty program that you can sign up for. And so the more that you fly with these companies or their affiliated companies, the more points you accumulate. Now, this isn't technically traveling for free if you're constantly paying for flights in order to get free ones. However, there is a way to play the system a bit and sign up for credit cards that have bonuses for these airlines. So if you can play your cards right, you can actually fly at no cost. So rather than going into detail in this video, I'm going to give you a link to Nomadic Matt's page, where I learned a lot about how to use credit cards to get free flights. Again, this is the most complicated section of this video, and it does take some time and some research to do this, but when you're flying to the other side of the world knowing that you haven't paid anything, it's a pretty sweet feeling. So there are actually a lot of ways to get free accommodation on the road. The first one, and probably the most well-known one, is Couchsurfing. If you don't know what Couchsurfing is, it's a website where you create a profile and you basically offer up a couch, a spare bed, or even just a mattress on the floor for travelers. So there's no money exchanged on Couchsurfing. That may sound a little sketchy to some people, but what it is it's all based on reviews. So once you let somebody stay at your place, or once you stay at somebody's place, you give them a review, and based on these reviews, you can decide on whether or not to host or stay with this person. Now, Couchsurfing isn't just about the accommodation factor. You meet some amazing people on Couchsurfing. You experience some of the greatest hospitality and have some of the best experiences while Couchsurfing. When we couch surfed in Morocco, we stayed with a guy called Ahmed and his roommates. And these guys were so accommodating. They took us out to all kinds of places and they never let us pay for a thing. We had an amazing time with them, and we're still in contact with them and remain good friends. We also couch surfed with Tiago in Portugal. We're here at O Pizza with our first couch surfing host, Tiago. Hello. We're spending the night in his father's restaurant, and he's giving us a meal.
It looks beautiful.
And again, while we stayed there, we didn't pay for any meals. So I 100% recommend couch surfing to people. If you're a little nervous about it, I would recommend going to the couch surfing meetups to start with. Just so that you can meet the other people there, or couch surf with a friend so that you have somebody else staying there with you. The thing about couch surfing though is that it's not 100% reliable. You can't always get a host in the place that you're visiting. So what are the other options? Well, one of them is free camping. So once again, if you have a decent tent and sleeping bag, you can sleep in the woods, you can sleep on the beach, anywhere that's not too public, where you don't think you're going to be disturbing people, or you don't think people are going to be disturbing you, you can basically set up your tent. Now, laws vary in different countries, but in some places in Europe, I believe all of Scandinavia actually, it's the law that you can camp anywhere as long as it's a certain distance from somebody's house. If you can't find a suitable place away from public places, away from people's houses, you can always knock on the door of somebody's house who has some space, a bit of property where you can set up camp. Oftentimes I've heard that these people will even invite you inside for a meal, or even to stay inside, have a shower and everything. If you want something that's a little more secure, a little more guaranteed, there are a few websites that you can use. One of them being Workaway, Another one being woofing, where you can actually exchange work for accommodation. So these sites do require a fee, so it's not technically free, but it's pretty cheap. I mean, I think woofing is $20 for the year, and it's definitely a good start. It's possible to do this without the websites. It's just not as guaranteed. When Dan and I were staying in Lagos in Portugal, we got very friendly with the hostel owners there, and we asked them if there was anything that we could do in exchange for accommodation. So we ended up doing some painting for them, and I think we got 5 nights for free staying at the hostel. 3 of those nights we ended up sleeping on the roof in a tent, and the other 2 we actually got our own beds. One last way to get free accommodation is house sitting. So I know of a couple of websites that you can find some good house sits around the world. Basically, it's just people who are going to be away from their houses for a certain amount of time and they need somebody to look after their houses. Typically, they'll have pets that they need looking after or plants. What's great about this is that you get your own space, your own kitchen, you've got a whole house. You basically have all the comforts of home while you're traveling. Right now, my sister's doing this with her boyfriend. She's been to Scotland, she's been to Ireland, and now she's on her way to Thailand and Vietnam, all with free accommodation. Now the websites that they're using are Trusted House Sitters and Mind My House. And again, these websites actually do have a yearly fee, but when you consider the amount of money that you're saving, I'd say it's worth it. However, if you want to go 100% money-free travel, you can still find house sitting opportunities all over the place. You just have to make some good connections, talk to the local people, and find out who will be in need of a house sit. Now the great thing about this is the more that you travel, the more people that you meet, the more connections that you make. So things like this just get easier and easier. Say you start couchsurfing with somebody. Couchsurfing hosts are usually travelers themselves. So there's a good chance that they'll need somebody to look after their place or just have an empty apartment for a certain amount of time. But the biggest thing is just talk to people. Network through couchsurfing, through websites like meetup.com, through workaways, through people that you meet at the hostels, anybody on the road. And it's amazing the opportunities that you can find once you start looking. So that's it for today's video. In the next video, I'll show you how to get free transportation and how to eat for free. Another tip, don't get your hair cut, because you might end up looking like this.